Good morning, you badass motherfuckers. Oh, yeah. We getting on here. Motherfucking hump day. Oh, shit. How's everybody doing? I'm back, motherfuckers. I'm back. We doing this shit every fucking day, aren't we? Life. It keeps hitting us every fucking day. It's the All on Me, the morning drinking show. I'm your host, Greg Scargill, the drunk motherfucker. Coming to you every single day. We talk about every fucking thing in here, about what it takes to transform your life using my motherfucking experience called life as the test to show you guys that it can be done. You can change any aspect of your life. Right? Does anybody want to feel fucking better about themselves on a hump day? Right? Been talking all this shit. Some of y'all going and chasing a piece of ass, sacrificing your peace of mind. Why? Because that shit's toxic. You know them relationships be toxic, man. When they don't bring you no peace, they just bring you what? Pleasure. We've been talking about that shit. You ain't gonna get no bullshit here on the fucking It's All on Me morning show. I appreciate everybody that's been checking in. Still got a lot of people reaching out. It's great to see every single day, man. I get so excited because when I finish up the show, got all kinds of new people logging on, checking in for the first time, being like, what the fuck? This is pretty refreshing. This is a big deal, you guys, right? Because what are we talking about? We're talking about every motherfucker out there having a potential to improve your life each and every day, you guys. And I'm showing you firsthand that it can be done. You could go from this, the drunk motherfucker, to this. And you see that shit I'm posting. A lot of you see the shit I post, but you don't like it. And it's not bragging, right? I think a lot of times we take, someone being proud of themselves. I think you have probably felt that way, right? Where it's like in our society, in our culture, right? For you to actually be proud of yourself and like put up your accomplishments. And I was one of those people, right? I might come across very extroverted, very, excited and maybe like egotistical, narcissistic, right? We always want to find the bad things, right? The things that are wrong because we're not programmed to think about positive, to really think that, man, someone could put in a shit ton of work, 10 motherfucking years, and come out the other side a brand new fucking man because we're supposed to stay the same. But even that's limiting beliefs, motherfuckers. That shit's a limiting belief, right? Even if you just wake up, veg out for a whole nother year, don't set out for any kind of goals, any kind of ambitions, you're still not going to be the exact same person you are today a year from now, even if you just show up to work, right? Never take a vacation. Just keep living that fucking mediocre lifestyle, man. I'm telling you, this shit it grieves me, right? I don't latch on to the stuff so emotional, but man, I just get I get a little sad for those of you that are out there, man, that project all these sad feelings, right? This lonely insecurity, right? Of, woe is me, wah, 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 right? Being that little bitch voice. No one's ever gonna love me. I'm not ever gonna be good enough, right? All that shit's lies, right? Every single one of us has a choice today. And the fact that you're even hearing my motherfucking voice right here, right fucking now, live, right? There's already 30 people, man, that have taken their last breath in the US alone. I keep harping on those mortality rates because that shit matters. Your fucking life matters. Today matters. You have an opportunity to be one step closer to breakthrough. I can't tell you guys how long, man. I was stuck. Even during this 10 years of sobriety, you guys. For a lot of years, man, I was just stuck. And it's so crazy because the very thing that we're called to do, it's literally, I don't understand why it's like this, you guys. I don't understand why the thing that we need to do, that we know is best for us, is on the other side of this fucking big wall of emotional, false, right, sense of fear. Everything is fucking fear. We're afraid of everything that's probably good for us, right? And that sense of fear, those emotions, right, is based on like way back in our primal age and fucking human development of like where we had to be survivors, right? We had to survive everything. And when it comes to survival, right, yeah, you got to know what's dangerous, right? What's hazardous for you, right? You got to understand when you're doing things that are risky that could either injure you, maybe even kill you, you know, because it's a dangerous occupation or it's a dangerous hobby, right? There's dangers all around us. But when we're living in this place where anxiety gets us, right? We get overwhelmed. Has anybody ever been overwhelmed on hump day, right? With Valentine's Day coming up, right? Anybody getting anxious? Anybody like saying, man, I need to go back to my ex. They ain't no good for me, but I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone on Valentine's Day because I can't love myself the way that someone else loves me. That's some bullshit. I keep telling you guys, you want to improve your relationship with others, you got to improve your relationship with yourself first and foremost. And that shit, I'm 43 years old. I'm just figuring this shit out. I'm just figuring out all this stuff about attachment styles. How many of y'all know about attachment styles in terms of relationship? Anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, secure attachment, right? Anybody know about this shit? I just learned this shit in like the last 2 years. And I've been grinding with transformation, with therapy, professional therapy, hypnotherapy, nature's therapy, every kind of therapy you could think of. I've been using and going after because guess what? I wasn't going to settle for being the same. No, I didn't want to be that no more. I didn't want to fucking feel ashamed of myself, feel unaccomplished, right? Feel like my best years were behind me. When I'm looking around, I'm seeing all these old motherfuckers, 70, 80 years old. I'm hiking up these huge fucking peaks in Colorado, 14ers, right? And I'm seeing old people up there doing the same thing. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? They're complimenting me. I'm like, shit, man. Look, how old are you? Oh, I'm 74. Really? I'm like, shit, man. That feels like a whole nother lifetime from now at 43 years old. But these people are still getting after it. They're still living an active lifestyle, right? So what's the difference? What is the difference between them and the old me and the you right now? Making all them fucking excuses about why you can't do something that you know you want to try. Why are you so afraid to try something new? To try the very thing, right? How many of you could get on fucking Facebook Live and just start talking about your story? Not that you're called to do it, but just the thought of it. If you guys just think about it, if you're watching me, right? That means there's not only something about, wow, okay, whatever this guy is saying is resonating with me, and that shit fucking charges me up, you guys. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. All of you that reach out, that post comments, right? Encouraging me with this message, because I'll be honest with you guys. I wasn't afraid, but I was fucking resistant. I was resisting. I was pushing it away from me that I needed to do this. I needed to hit go live and fucking start talking about my story. I was resistant to it. I was hesitant. I was procrastinating. I was trying to avoid it as much as possible. And now you all are seeing this, seeing the consistency as we come up on over a month and a half, every fucking day, 7 days a week. You tell me some other motherfucker that's putting out that kind of content 7 days a week, the biggest in the fucking business, 7 days a week. It ain't happening. But here we are 7 days a week putting out a message. And then you guys watch this stuff and it's like, you have to fantasize about it. I know I did. I know when I watch the people that I admire, the influencers that I use to help build me up, to help strengthen me, right? I would think, man, I wonder what it'd be like to be that, to have that kind of confidence, to be able to hit go live and then tell my story. I know y'all think this shit. I would, because I thought this shit, and we're so fucking there. There's something about humans. We don't want to see the similarities, right? And we live vicariously through other people, but we don't think we're capable of doing what someone else is doing. And that's such a fucking lie, man. That's a limiting belief. Every single one of you is capable of doing this shit. And especially if it's something that you're thinking about, but yet you don't feel the worth, right? And what does a lot of this shit have to do with? It's what I've been talking about, you guys, for the last few weeks, our standards, right? Standards are huge. Standards. Tony Robbins, one of the best in the fucking business. And he has an incredible story. You know, everybody could see him as this motivational speaker, or some people think of him as an asshole, whatever. Man, you got to know these people's stories, right? He was fucking, man, that guy went through a lot of abuse as a child. His father and his mother. I mean, it's incredible, some of these successful people. And you could be the next one. I truly believe it. That you could be the next big fucking thing with your amazing, incredible story that you're just keeping hidden back. Your truth. That's what this all started about. It's all on me. It's taking what? Total fucking ownership of what? Your life, your story, your passions, your fears, your ambition, your hopes, your dreams, your goals, right? And becoming a fucking warrior, a conqueror, overcoming the adversity every single day, you guys. Because that is the constant on this journey of self-discovery, of renewal, of rebirth, whatever the fuck you want to call it, of transformation. The constant is every single day I got to get up and show up, being a self-starter. Ain't nobody fucking motivating me. I ain't got somebody telling me you better do this. I know what the fuck I need to do, right? And for me, I keep harping this shit, you guys. It starts with filling our cup. You need to know what energizes you. The things that energize you are the things that raise your energy level. That's the whole point of it. If it energizes you, if it makes you feel alive, whether that's dancing or hiking or running, right? Exercising in any form or fashion, whatever your drive is, whatever attracts you to be active as a human being, that is definitely one thing you should be doing on a regular basis, right? 5 days a week, 4 days a week. If you look at the week as being 7 days, you should be doing that for like an hour a day for a majority of the days, 4 days or more, you guys. Something that makes you feel active. Could be dancing, could be exercising, lifting, playing basketball, riding your bike, going for walks, hikes. It's limitless. There's no fucking end to it. But it's got to be your thing. And that's something that's going to fill your cup, right? I think the mindfulness, right, is really universal. We all need to connect with ourselves. And that's what the mindfulness is about, you guys. That's why I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was talking to somebody yesterday and they're like, their fucking eyes rolled in the back of their head when I told them I wake up at 4. Because they're like, man, I try and barely get to sleep by 4. That's the middle of the fucking night, man. Why do you wake up in the middle of the night? And I'm like, I thought the new day starts at midnight. Ooh, right? When does the new day start? Is it at midnight or is it when your ass wakes up at fucking 9, 8, 7, whatever the fuck? The day starts at midnight, right? So the more time you get to yourself for mindfulness, journaling, right? Meditation, listening to positive affirmations, right? Turning down some of the hip hop, turning down some of the fucking other music. Not that that shit's bad. I listen to fucking different stuff, all right? All the time. But in the morning, I really, 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 really use that time, right? For what? For really starting that attitude of gratitude. And that has everything to do with so much, you guys. It starts there. Are you grateful for today? Right? Can we at least just start there? Like, as we get our day starting, are you someone that's grateful, or are you someone that's feeling like, man, I'm getting fucked? Life is fucking me up. Which are you? Are you someone that's like, man, I am genuinely grateful for all of my situation, whatever it is, right? You could be you could be at the going up the ladder, right? Because life is like ebb and flow, right? It's like a current. It's a fucking frequency. It goes up and down. It has the fucking frequencies. So if whether you're on the rise, or you're at the peak, or you're on the downward, or you're in the fucking rut, can you have a positive mental attitude? Can you strengthen your mindset? And it takes the simplest things, you guys, waking up with gratitude, knowing that, man, almost 250,000 people, 250,000 people, right? It's more like 170, but 250,000 people, this will be the last day that they live. And that's across all ages. This ain't just old motherfuckers. This ain't just motherfuckers with COVID, right? This is across the board, man. People die every fucking day, you guys, every day. And some of you may be feeling that bad. And I've been there, right? Where we feel that fucking low that we don't care if we live or die. We really don't. I've been there, right? And even just part of me right now, I'm so free flowing that, I try and live every day like maybe it's my last day. I try and make a difference. I try and maintain, a high sense of value and, giving of myself, but taking care of myself, loving myself, getting to know myself better, right? Trying to make an impact in this world, a positive impact, not a negative one like I used to, where I was just fucking toxic and polluting, right? Destructive, negative, right? Because I was carrying around all that pain. I was carrying around all that childhood trauma. We've been talking about trauma here. But what about our standards, right? How do we increase our standards? How does our standards, play into how we feel about ourselves, right? I've been kind of going on this rant about relationships, and, I've become a pretty well-knowledged expert in relationships. Now, does that make me perfect at them? Fuck no, right? But I've been improving every single day my relationship with myself. And what I have been seeing, you guys, is as I continue to improve my relationship with myself every day, right? My self-talk, how I care about myself, how I treat myself, the things I tell myself, right? And really just feeling safe and secure by myself, right? Not having these attachments that are meant to like give me a false sense of like being accepted, right? Because at the end of the day, man, everything comes and goes that's outside of ourselves, right? Look back on your life, right? You may be going through heartache right now, right? If any of you are in a season of heartache, right? You had a breakup, you've had, you're in this period of coming off of a relationship, right? Maybe someone you really cared about, you had to let go of it, or the person just abandoned you, whatever it is. If you have heartache right now, right, you need to look at the bigger picture, you guys. And I'm not trying to disregard your feelings, but you got to look at the big picture and try and heal yourself, right? Get to a place of neutrality, right? Because a lot of times, man, our nervous systems get all jacked up in these toxic relationships, and we really start to lose a sense of ourself. Because we're putting someone else on a pedestal, and all our emotional joy and pleasure and highs and lows are attached to this person in our life, and then we lose them. And this shit's crazy, the way relationships go down nowadays. It's like, man, 1 minute, you're waking up next to somebody, making love, loving each other, just giving of each other. And by the motherfucking sunset, y'all are like, I'm done. I never want to talk to you again. Or maybe you don't even have that conversation, but it's done. By the end of the fucking day, man, you wake up, you're like, oh, This person's gone out of my life now. The morning we were together forever, and now it's the evening, and I have a plan to never talk to this person again. What the fuck's going on, man? You can't live like that. You can't. You can't be held hostage. And that's why it's so important. If you're grabbing a hold of this message, it's all on me. You got to take fucking ownership. You got to develop that relationship with yourself. And this ain't shit we learn in school. That's why I'm so like blown away by this message. I'm blown away by the results, what it has taken me to get here, to rebuild my fucking self. I didn't realize, you guys, how much this childhood trauma has impacted my adulthood. It's crazy. If I knew any better, I wouldn't believe that this was possible, but it is. And there's science. There's all kinds of science to back this shit up. Studies on human behavior and people and our development. And I told you guys, where I really fucking started to wake up to the childhood trauma was when I became a public education teacher. And to actually see the trauma real time, you guys. So not just looking back on my own life with a spotty memory, right? And having to have people kind of backfill my own memory, my own fucking reality of what had happened throughout my life as a kid. But here I was as a teacher, very alert, very conscious, and very observant to see these kids coming in, and you could see it, man. I'm telling you, you could see it. And just like I could see it with the kids, trust me, I could see it in adults too. And maybe that's a gift. I don't know. I think we all have that sense where you can just tell that somebody's carrying around something, man. Right? And those wounds that we carry around, that hurt, that pain, the trauma, especially through our adulthood, I didn't realize that. And I had no fucking idea, you guys. I had no idea, right? That the amount of violence that I observed as a little toddler, as a baby, toddler, kid, at the hands of my biological father towards my mother, right? The amount of physical extreme violence, right? Beat downs, guns drawn. I mean, fucking heinous shit, man. Heinous shit. I didn't realize how that would fuck me up as an adult, right? I didn't realize how when my mom was finally able to escape that, right? And that's what it took. It was like this coordinated escape where my biological father was like a traveling kind of electrician type position, and my mom had to like literally coordinate the whole fucking escape, right? And she had to reach out to her mom, who was in California, and my grandpa, right, was here in New Mexico. And it's like when my biological father, he went on like a couple day fucking work trip, they had to like coordinate this whole thing over like the course of months, right? That she had finally just had enough, man. Like her safety, my safety this was not how it should be, right? And he had to leave town, and then my grandpa, who wasn't really active as a father even in my mom's life, and they still have a strained relationship, so there's like generational curses going on here. Been talking to somebody about that lately, and it's crazy how this shit we pass on these fucking our trauma, right? But they had to coordinate the escape, right? Where he left, and then she just had to abandon. At the time they were living in a trailer, and I think my grandma had purchased the trailer for my mom and my biological father, and they just gave it away. Our safety was what was more important, and I had to be excommunicated from a big family. So it wasn't just him. It was like, man, aunts and uncles and cousins, and that whole thing, all of that violence caused a trauma bond, right, with me and my mom, where we had both experienced trauma together, and all we had was each other. And so here's little Greggy, right, with his mom, and just when you're a child and you've been that terrorized, that terrified, it's terrified, right? When you feel those senses of terror. Because again, when we're little babies, we have two primal fucking communications. We're either happy, we're joyful. You look at that little baby and they're like, yay, right? Or you're crying, right? You're terrorized, you're terrified, you're sad, you're afraid, right? For whatever reason. And we created the trauma bond between me and my mother. And that created what? Codependency, to where me, psychologically speaking, I felt that, again, for me to be safe, I need my mom, right? Because she had always been there to comfort me after these fucking violent fucking encounters. She was like, you know, we would both be terrified, crying. You know, I don't think I ever got beat up, but she was always getting her ass kicked, right? And here I am fucking just freaked the fuck out, see my mother getting her fucking ass kicked, right? To one time where, you know, my biological father coordinated this whole thing to, you know, give her some paperwork as they were trying to get divorced. And he played the nice guy, like, oh, hey, you know, okay, I'll finally relent and I'll give in. And, you know, I got the paperwork for you, you know, tell me where you're at. And so she went for that, right? She thought, oh, okay, well, this is new. Maybe this can be better. Well, nah, fuck no, right? He showed up and she opened the door. That motherfucker kicked it down, beat the shit out of her, right? Pulled a gun, right? Robbed her, pulled a gun, and little Greggy comes out from under the bed. Hey, please don't kill my mommy. What the fuck, man? What the fuck, you guys? Right? That shit fucks kid up. You know, there was another story where he tried to kidnap me at my grandpa's house, right? And my step grandmother at the time, you know, he came in and the same thing, you know, hey, I got a present or something for Greg, and, you know, where are you guys at? And, you know, you know, very manipulative. And, you know, they said, yeah, sure. And he showed up, man, and fucking next thing you know, he fucking grabs me, throws me in the truck and tries driving off. And my mom's grabbing onto the fucking bed of the truck, and my step grandma's like holding on to the fucking window, and he's hauling ass, and they're freaking out, screaming, and they pull me out of the truck, man. I mean, this is real life shit. And it's like, I'll be honest with you guys, like over the course of my life, you forget this shit. I forgot this stuff. But when I look back throughout the 10 years of reflection, and it really started where everything really started to come together was after divorce, is I had to really start examining, who am I? Why am I the way I am? Why do I feel the way I do? Why haven't I been successful in relationships or, you know, different scenarios? And where it all started pointing back was this trauma. As I'm seeing kids in class and I'm learning about, you know, how we have these traumatic events, and the more events you have, guys, like the training I got as a public, as a teacher, elementary teacher, was like, the more fucking traumatic events you have, the longer that list is. Oh man, it is so hard to fucking heal that, but it plays out into our adulthood. And that's what's crazy, is that we don't realize this shit, right? The neglect, the abuse that we face as kids, and how that makes the impression on then our adulthood relationships. So I can openly and honestly say, as I look back at all the relationships, who was I trying to remanifest into my life? The dream girl, right? A woman to build a life with? Or was I trying to find my mom again? It's the last answer, right? Subconsciously, you guys, I was trying to find that nurturer, right? That provider, that caretaker. I was trying to turn a woman that wanted to love me and was looking for a man, right, to meet her fucking needs. And I'm over here thinking I'm looking for a woman, but I'm really just trying to remanifest a mother figure in my life. And it's all based on the fucking trauma bonds and the codependency. Because subconsciously, when, you know, you don't realize this shit's going on, but this is the law of attraction. This is the things that we bring into our lives, the people that come into our lives. And when, you know, I've been having this amazing conversation with so many of you, but it's like to be able to actually be so present in yourself, right? To realize that when you look around at the people that are showing up in your life, right? Just look at just in this past, since the beginning of the year, what type of new people are showing up in your life. So for you to be so fucking present that you can actually see where you are as a person, where your attitude is it positive? Is it negative? Is it toxic? Right? Is it needy? Or are you someone that's like finally breaking through, becoming more independent, more self-sufficient, right? More self-confident, more loving towards yourself. And then you're getting what? Positive people. And I talk about the two types of people, right? It's actually, if you could find one person that exhibits this thing, right? It's when you're down and out, when you're hurting, you want someone that's gonna fucking be there for you no matter what. They got their own shit going on, but someone that shows up for you, right? To comfort you, to pick you up, right? To just hear you, right? Doesn't want to judge you, doesn't want to fix all your problems, just wants to sit there and let you vent, right? And is willing to listen and, pick you up. Won't, and doesn't let you stay there, says, come on. I know you've been through all this and I can't imagine how much it's hurt you and how tough this must feel. But I see all this awesome stuff in you, and don't give up on yourself. Keep moving. You're doing great things. Like they're giving you hope and they're projecting that on you, right? And the other quality you look for is someone that when you're doing good, they're your biggest cheerleader. They believe in you regardless. Because a lot of us have people in our lives that are super close to us that when you're down, they disappear. They dip, right? I was in that. I had someone in my life, right, in a relationship, toxic relationship, that when I needed that person, when I couldn't be strong, boom, avoidance style, man, they were gone, right? They were gone. And it's not their job to even provide that for me, that emotional support, but it is something that it's like, I know it's something that I need, that it's something I desire. When I'm looking for someone to be in my life, it's like, I can't be strong all the time. I might project out, I'm sure I'm projecting out this fucking really strong masculinity. But what you guys are really seeing, and a lot of you come back for this, is I'm very vulnerable right now, this whole conversation, right? And I think I've always heard of like meekness, right? Meekness is not weakness, it's strength under control, right? And I think that is what's so important in this day and age is all of us, men and women alike, we need to toughen up. We need to take fucking responsibility for our lives, for our situations. And that doesn't mean that we just say, fuck, I don't need anybody else. It's not that attitude. It's not that arrogant, fucking isolated attitude. It's just a place of being where you can do it alone. You don't need anybody else. You don't need them. But man, it's a beautiful thing when you can get to a place where you're so at peace within yourself, right? And it's almost like that. When you have that needy energy, when you are so codependent that you literally hop from one relationship to the next, right? The minute one relationship ends, you already have another one fired up. And there's no fucking reflection point in the middle. There's no chance for you to decompress. There's no opportunity for you to heal and really grow from that experience as to why did that last relationship fail? Is it just that people in this day and age are non-committal? Maybe. There is a lot of bullshit going on out there right now. I mentioned it the other day, man. The dating pool has been peed in by a lot of us, right? A lot of us are peed in the pool right now. And it sucks. Because I remember back in the day, man, I liked the game when you actually had to work, right? Where you actually had to like get to know somebody. I remember growing up, man, like writing letters was a really cool way to like kindle love and romance and interest in somebody. I remember, like, we'd always pass around the little letters and fold them, right? I mean, is anybody else with me on that? Like when we used to actually write letters to each other. And, nowadays it's like if a text is longer than fucking, 5 sentences, you're toxic. And it's like, that's bullshit. Right? I mean, definitely, like, people need to be heard. And we have a lot of issues. And there's certainly a lot of toxic traits in people that come out in insecurity, right? And there's a lot of reasons why people can feel insecure, right? You may be somebody that, you know, has that anxious attachment style, which means that you have a fear of abandonment, right? That's kind of the two big ones. Anxious attachment is literally like this, and it's subconscious, but it is a fear of abandonment, a fear of rejection. And I've had that, right? Because again, I have this need from my earliest age for me to feel safe in this world, you guys, right? Because of those experiences as a little baby, I didn't feel safe in this world without who? My mom. Because when I identified these horrific, terrifying events, these traumatic events, the only person that was there to comfort me, to bring me back to like feeling safe again, was my mom, was her presence. And so guess what? Throughout the rest of my life, for me to feel fully safe in this world, I felt like I've needed to have this feminine energy here with me for me to feel safe. And a lot of times, you know, I'm willing to sacrifice so much about myself to keep someone that's probably no good for me and is manipulating me, taking advantage of me, right? But I would, like, subconsciously, I'm telling myself, and I'm dropping down my fucking standards and my worth. Because what? Because for me, the more important thing that I'm chasing after was this sense of feeling safe. And for me to feel safe was to just have a woman in my life. Now, whether that person could actually meet that need of providing me the affection, right, was always very trivial as to like what they have been through. And if they were even signing up for that, they're thinking this should just be romantic. I'm a pretty romantic guy. But underneath the surface, when you get into those difficult times, conflict, right? When you start having disagreements and conflict, if you have someone that's anxious, well, they're totally afraid that they're going to be abandoned. And so they're willing to like almost do whatever it takes, sacrifice themselves, their beliefs, their feelings, right? In order to keep that person there. They're holding on, like, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. I don't want to be abandoned. I need you. Even though you hurt me, even though you're someone that hurts me, I need you because that's how I feel safe. And that's the old me. I'm working through this stuff. The avoidant person, you guys, so that's the anxious person. The avoidant person has a fear of being controlled because they were probably controlled as a child. They they were looked at as a possession. Anybody do that still to this day? Right? Treat your children like they're your possession. Like, we're responsible for our kids, but man, it is not healthy for our kids to feel like they're not their own identity, that they're so-and-so's kid, and that they don't like have their own identity. That's like a toxic thing for us to like be projecting on that. And I have a really good book, and I don't know, it's not coming to my mind. Hopefully it'll come up, but it's a really good parenting book that my therapist had shared with me last year. And it's powerful. And I'll try and share that with you guys if anybody's interested in this parenting book, because it paints all these scenarios, man, for like the neglect, the abuse. And it really says, okay, if this is what you experienced as a child, or this is even what you're doing as a parent, right? Here's a better way to handle it, because this is how you as a child interpreted this behavior, and this is how your kids are. So it tries to juxtapose both of those scenarios, and it gives you alternatives to really strengthen your bonds with your kids and hopefully heal some of your childhood wounds. But that avoidant person was probably manipulated, over controlled, right? Didn't have any freedom, right? And again, you know that when that stuff happens, you're even more rebellious. You even want to go farther away from it, right? When you feel like someone's trying to control you, right? And you want to run away from that shit. No one wants to be controlled. No one wants to be feel like they're a slave to another human being. Like we want to, there is a sense in our own spirit that we want to be independent and free. And then when we actually do choose to love somebody, it's our choice and it's free. And we can, that's a secure relationship. That's that secure style. So that's the third piece. So you have your anxious, your anxious attachment, right? I guess we're talking attachment styles today, but your anxious attachment style is the person that is, always nervous about this person abandoning them. They're very insecure, right? If you have like sort of some distance between you, right? A little bit of a distance, different towns or even other states or countries or whatever, you're always thinking about what is this person doing? If they're not responding quick enough, or you can't keep tabs on them, or they're posting something that you didn't know about, you get really insecure. Oh, great. Well, what are they doing? And you're constantly just creating these scenarios in your fucking head, and you're being consumed by what someone else is doing. Right? And you're messing with yourself. You're stealing yourself of your own. You're distracting yourself from your own possibilities, your own achievement, your energy to aim at your own goals, because you're so worried about what this other person is doing. The avoidant doesn't want to be controlled. And when they start to feel that someone wants to control them or is grabbing on too hard, and especially that's what happens in a lot of toxic relationships. You get one person that's anxious and one person that's avoidant, and it's not sex-based. It's not, oh, well, men are the anxious one, women are the avoidant, or vice versa. I've seen it both ways, and I've also seen it crisscross to where you can change. So even if you're an anxious person in the current relationship or the last relationship, if you don't put in the work that I'm trying to suggest, which is really that self-discovery, that therapy, reconnecting with your childhood, trying to give your experiences, that trauma, a sense of grace and mercy, and give it new meaning so that you can be empowered to move forward in a fucking healthy, focused way, so that you can actually live a dream life, not just be envious of every other motherfucker that you perceive is living a dream, but they probably some miserable fucks too. But the secure attachment, right, is where you get two people that come together and they choose to love each other. There's trust, there's commitment, there's respect, there's space, there's security, there's safety to express, right? Differences of opinion, differences of feelings, without getting offensive, without getting defensive, without fucking turning shit into this big, huge fucking fight. And that doesn't mean that the secure attachment is conflict free. It's just, how do they fight? How do they have conflict? Is it by raising their voices and fucking attacking each other with all these insecurities? Or is it having a fucking grown-up conversation, hearing somebody out, being curious as to, wow, I didn't realize that you felt this way about me, right? What is it that I'm doing that has made you feel this? Tell me more. As opposed to saying, what the fuck? Who the fuck do you think you are feeling that way about me? I didn't do shit, right? Which response are you? If you're someone that it gets pretty defensive pretty quick because you can't take being misunderstood, right? Does anybody have some issues with being misunderstood in this day and age? I know I was. Again, you guys know everything I'm putting out here is shit that is coming from me direct. And I usually don't fucking talk about shit that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, because that's just bullshitting you. The stuff I'm talking about is stuff that I have not only experienced, I have now observed it, I have researched it, and I'm figuring it out, and I've applied it to my life, and I've seen it make a difference and improve the quality of my life. So that's where I'm coming from with this message. And that's why it's resonating with so many of you. is because this shit is hitting from a fucking place of truth and not bullshit. So we got the anxious, we got the avoidant attachment, and in the middle, you got this secure attachment style. And the picture that they paint with a secure relationship is you just picture this couple, right? In the forest, you got these two claw tooth tubs with fucking natural hot water pouring into them, perfect temperature, you know, and you're in one tub and the person you love is in the other tub. And in the middle, you guys are holding each other's hands, right? And that in between, right? So that means that each of you still have your own space, your own identity, your own comfort with who you are. And in the middle, you're choosing to create this connection, this third thing that's called the relationship, right? And it takes a secure person, a healthy, whole person in order to show up in that secure relationship. And it's really hard, you guys. You got to put in the work. This shit just don't come natural because we're so prone to, when we start catching feelings for somebody, right? We start to try and possess that emotionally. We try and possess them emotionally. And the bottom line is we don't own anybody except for ourselves. And these are these hard fucking talks that I'm having with you guys. It's all on me. Total fucking ownership. You need to know who the fuck you are. Quit bullshitting your fucking self. Right? And there's a lot of us going around, you guys, and I know this shit's starting to hurt some of you. Because it's like, how do we fix this? How do we fix it if we're in a long-term relationship, a marriage, just a boyfriend, girlfriend, living arrangement, and we're cheating on our partner, right? We are actually having extra, you know, fucking relationships, right? We're cheating. We're cheating on our partner, emotionally, sexually, physically, whatever the fuck it is, right? And this is a hard conversation to have because I know some of y'all are doing this, right? I know some of y'all are doing this. And it's a fucking tough place to be when you find yourself there because you want to blame you want to blame your fucking partner for it. You want to say, oh, if they're ignoring me, they're not loving me, but I'm stuck with them. And what, I don't have a choice, or like, it's just all this bullshit. We put all this bullshit out there, tell ourselves, and then we find ourselves fucking sleeping with someone else and going home to another person. And somehow, you know, man, it's like fucking a hit of some major drug. It's euphoric because we know we're in the wrong place with the wrong person, right? But there's something about it, man. It gets our blood fucking just pumping, our endorphins fucking rushing. It's like this crazy high because it's taboo as fuck and it's super wrong, you guys. But how do we fix it? How do we take ownership of that? Right? And that's a tough thing. I don't know if you guys are ready for real talk here on a fucking hump day about how we fix this shit. And how do I know how to fix this shit? Because I've been there. The drunk motherfucker, guess what? Yeah, he's been there too. One fucking time, you guys. I'll be honest. I could be honest with myself, right? So after this fucking time right here, you guys, the drunk motherfucker got released. Did he get to go home that night? Nope. No. That motherfucker had restraining orders, right? He had divorce papers. He had criminal charges. He had the whole fucking enchilada, right? Christmas chili. If you're from New Mexico, that's red and green. The whole fucking enchilada, man, right? I didn't just have to hire an attorney. I needed a fucking legal team to deal with this shit because this was just me getting released. I still had to deal with the courts like a motherfucker. Long story short, me and my ex, after 10 months of separation, we reconciled. But here's the thing, you guys, is during that separation, I met another person, right? And we hooked up. And I could try and justify that shit. I could try and say, hey, well, Again, I have divorce papers, right? We're separated, right? I have restraining orders. I have a criminal charge. Like, I'm not committed to this person. Bullshit. I was still married. I was still under a marital covenant, right? And I honor that shit, but I broke it, right? Real talk on a fucking Wednesday morning, motherfuckers. You know that you keep coming back because this motherfucker, I ain't got nothing to hide. And I know what I'm talking about. It's going to be something to fucking help when you motherfuckers get right with your life. So here's what happened, you guys, right? I hooked up with this other person during a total separation, right? Totally valid. I think in a lot of ways, I wanted to justify this action. But and at the end of the day, I looked myself in the mirror. I said, nah, this ain't right. I'm still married, right? And I told you guys, like, I value that shit. Commitment is fucking huge for me. This is the only time that I've ever stepped out of a relationship, and I had every fucking justifiable reason to do it. But I'm not going to allow for those bullshit fucking excuses to get me off the hook from taking responsibility. So after I did that, man, I didn't feel right about myself. I'm like, fuck, this was not right. What the fuck were you doing, man? What were you doing? And so here's how you get it right. And most of you aren't going to have this, not have this strength. Most of you would rather take this shit to your grave, keep it hidden, and it's going to fuck with you the rest of your life. You can't expect life and karma to bless you, to fucking give you the abundance to do any of this shit if you can't get right with other motherfuckers that you're doing some shit behind their back, right? They have one impression of you, and here you go behind their back with some other bullshit. So here's how I got it right. The person that I hooked up with, I had to tell her, you know what? I fucked up. I am sorry. I am still a married man, right? And because of that, I need to cut this off right now, and I can never speak to you again. That person was not happy with me to where I never blocked them. I never, did anything weird. And I would just they would just pop up for months and months and months, unloading on me, just very upset. And I just never responded. I just said, look, it's done. It's done. I fucked up. I can never talk to you again. This has to end right now. And guess what? At the same time, I was starting this reconciliation process with my ex. We had been separated for 10 months was the total time. Well, it was about probably at like month 4, maybe halfway in there, that this had happened. And we were starting to reconcile. We were doing co-parenting. So we were having these encounters. And I remember going to church, and the pastor had given this message about, it's like sometimes you go to these places and it's like, this person's talking about me. How do you know all this shit that's going on in my life? Long story short, the message was something about, hey, if you're carrying around these secrets that someone that you care about, maybe sitting right next to you, doesn't know about, until you confess this stuff or, inform them as to what's going on, let them know the truth, right? It's going to start destroying your sense of peace, your sense of wellness. And I just remember like going, and it was kind of crazy, you guys, like, and this is why I don't know, I'm in between on the whole religious thing. I'm not a part of that right now. I'm not in that space. But I remember I went to this pastor after the service, and I confessed to him. I said, hey man, I need to talk to you. And he didn't really even have the time for me. He's like, hey, can we schedule something next week? I'm like, no, I need to talk to you right now. And he's like, okay, let me give you a few minutes. And I told him what happened. And he said, well, let me just tell you this. Don't say anything to her. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? He's like, yeah, man, you probably don't want to say that. That's not going to be good. Don't go and do that. So he gave me like the bad advice, the advice I'm not going to give you. And I remember going to another friend of mine that I looked up to, and I said him, and he's like, dude, don't say that, man. That would be the worst thing you ever did, bro. You'll never have a chance to get back with your ex-wife. And I'm like, really? Why all these guys give me this bad advice, man? Like, something inside of me was saying, dude, you need to tell your ex-wife. She was my wife at the time. She's now my ex. You need to go and tell her without her finding out. Like, you need to find a fucking window where you can say, hey, I need to let you know something. That before we reconcile, I need to let you know that this happened. And this is information you need to know, that moving forward, it may change your fucking feelings about me and it may change the course of the rest of our life, but I can't live with myself hiding this shit under this false fucking mask that somehow I'm a good guy and that we're just getting back and that it's all been hunky dory. And I'll tell you guys, the morning she came, I think I was dropping off. No, she was picking up the kids. And I looked at her and I was like, hey, I need to tell you something. I need to talk to you about something. Can I have a minute? And we went out to private. And I told her, I said, hey, I need to let you know, we've been talking and we're doing this stuff, but I have to let you know, I hooked up with somebody. I met this woman, I hooked up with them, and it was like the example of the avoidant, the avoidant fucking style is the minute I said that, I mean, she probably cursed me off or something, you fucking motherfucker, or some shit like that. She grabbed the kids and just woof. And I used to be the guy that was like, the fucking, if you're, basketball, I think basketball is usually the best, but when you're a defender and you're doing full court press, right? You're like in front of the other person, like, every step that they come at you, you're just trying to stay in front of them, like blocking them from going. And I learned during this season that I needed to get the fuck out of the way and just let her fucking go, man. Just let her go. And the coolest thing, you guys, and there's not anything really cool about this story because fucking really it's real, right? This is my fucking truth. I can own my shit, and I hope you will fucking own your shit because I'm here to be a role model as to what it's going to take for you to get right with yourself. And sometimes getting right with yourself is you got to go get right with them people that you're fucking over emotionally, psychologically, manipulation, all this bullshit you're hiding. And most of you won't have the fucking guts to do this. I already know. Because it takes every fucking thing. It takes some real fucking integrity, some real courage. And we got a lot of cowards in this world. Right? Because you can't even hear yourself. You've told yourself so many lies, you don't even know where the truth fucking starts and ends. It's all lies. You got to clean all that shit up. But I confessed that to her. And right away, most people would have been like, oh, fuck, dude, there's no way she's coming back. Well, guess what? The next morning I had to go pick up my kids and she was living in another place. We were separated. And again, I had all the justifications, right? I had all the fucking justifications. Divorce papers, restraining orders, legal separation, criminal charges. Right after this, you guys, months after that. And there was something about it. I seen her, we looked each other in the eye, and I just knew it was going to be okay. There was something about the fucking glance that we had, the moment we had with each other, that I knew that it was going to be okay. Because that old saying is the truth will set you free. Well, a lot of people would think, oh, by her knowing the truth, she's going to be set free. She's going to leave your fucking ass behind. Well, she didn't, right? The truth, me being able to tell her the truth and not manipulating her, not trying to fucking get her to think that I'm some good guy, that I'm turning my life around, because I had started getting sober, and that was a big fucking thing for her. She was like, wow, you're really going to take this serious this time, huh? You're going to get sober. You're going to start changing your fucking ways, and I was starting to. That's what gave her even a sense of, maybe there is some hope for us to try this again, right? Because again, I mean, that's pretty fucking final, don't you guys think? This motherfucker coming out of that, divorce papers, right? I had fucking divorce papers, restraining order, fucking legal separation, and criminal charges, guys. All of that coming off of this motherfucking day. And then yet I fucked up even more by hooking up. The only time in my life that I've ever stepped out of a relationship. And I had to confess that shit. And I had all these people, these quote unquote spiritual leaders, these fucking guru guys, Christians, telling me, don't do that. Don't do that. That'll be the dumbest thing you've ever done. I'm like, what? This don't fucking make sense. I'm going to follow my heart. I'm going to follow my intuition because I know what's right. And me trying to hide that shit in order to fucking rebuild this relationship, that's some bullshit. I couldn't live with myself. No way. And some of y'all need to fucking get honest. But some of you won't because you're cowards. Because you know you can't live with it Well, you are living with it. And then you're wondering why you're so miserable on the inside. No matter how good you look on the outside, you miserable motherfucker. Because you're carrying around some bullshit. And I know there's people out there watching these videos that this is you, right? If you need some help, hit me up. I will not judge you. And I don't care if you're judging me right now, because I can own my story. My message is my message, and it is all fucking truth. And ain't full of bullshit. I'm done bullshitting myself, and I'm done bullshitting others. This is my motherfucking story. This is my truth. This is how it hits. It's raw, motherfuckers. The cold, hard fucking truth. The drunk motherfucker. But by telling that truth, I think that really, the fear was there. I had fucking spiritual leaders, man, like fucking these pastor fuckers telling me, don't do it, man. Don't do it. That's dumb. And yet I did it because, again, some of us, we put all this hope into these spiritual fucking people, but they humans just like us. They're full of shit too. Trust me. Telling you, they full of shit. They don't fucking fully believe in themselves. And, but they have to put that front. They have to project that because, it's like a business now, right? Isn't church like a business now? Entertainment. Oh shit, man, we getting it going, aren't we? But real talk, man, if you're hurting, if this shit's hitting you, I know it's gonna be a hard motherfucker. I know I'm hurting somebody today. I know I'm stirring up some deep, dark shit in one of you today. If you need somebody, I'm here for you. I won't judge you. I'll be there for you. I'll listen to you. I'll keep it confidential, 100%, always, right? And I'm not telling everybody go confess all this shit, because I know some of you just won't. You will take that fucking shit to the grave, because you can't afford to allow the truth to be free, to see what truly happens when the truth comes out, right? To give other people an opportunity to reassess their standing with you if you're hiding shit from them, right? And I'm telling you, when you hide shit, when you're holding shit back, man, the universe just, it'll get you by. And you may even be rewarded in some ways, right? You may even be feeling like things are actually going really good, but I know there's something inside of you. You're dealing with a lot of shit. You're probably using a lot of different ways to numb it. Maybe even more of that promiscuity, right? Because it's like in a drug, it numbs you. I mean, that's what I used alcohol as, was the thing that numbed me from the pain of dealing with reality, right? I was codependent on alcohol, because when I couldn't find my safety in a woman, right? Because I was putting that pressure on a woman to be my mom, like, fuck, man, right? To reinvigorate my mom, as opposed to having a woman to address the masculine things I need, not the boy stuff, right? And some of us as men are not men. We portray ourselves like these tough motherfuckers, but y'all are just little kids crying inside, man. And it's not, it's the hand you got dealt. Hit me up. I'll fucking, I'm the kind of guy that'll be a fucking man can cry some tears with you, fucking hug you, and, hold you and give you a fucking, give you some compassion. But I'm also a motherfucker, light a fire under your ass and say, come on, man, let's get it. Let's fix this. There's hope, because I've done it. This ain't bullshit. So I'll leave you guys with that, right? You want to get right with yourself. You're doing some shady shit behind other people's backs. You need to get right with them. You need to find a way to get honest, right? You need to let go of some of these relationships. And by letting go, sometimes you got to say the truth. You need to let people know what you're really fucking doing. And it may cause you a season of pain, right? A divorce, separation, rebuilding your life. But you guys never know. That might be the absolute best thing for you, because the way you feel right now is miserable. You can put the fucking face on. You can show the tits and ass all over the thing. You can throw the flex with the car and the muscle, like you got shit going on in your life, but it's all front. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit until you start getting real with your fucking self. right? And you got to take total fucking ownership. And that's a hard motherfucking thing to do, huh? Finding the truth inside you. Nobody else's truth matters. Your fucking truth. Quit telling yourself all them fucking lies. This has been an interesting conversation on a hump day. I hope some of you guys will stop fucking selling out your peace of mind for that piece of ass as we come into Valentine's Day. Raise your fucking standards, motherfuckers. Quit settling for less than your fucking best. You want to improve your relationships, improve it with yourself first and foremost. Get honest, get real, quit hiding all them fucking shits inside of you, right? Start journaling this stuff. At the very least, if you can't fucking talk to somebody about these problems, you need to have a conversation with yourself. And you ain't going to do it in your head. Start writing this shit down. Even if you write it down and burn that shit the next fucking minute, write it down, you guys. Write it down. Journaling every day, man. That is a fucking habit I have. I'm coming to you guys with these positive fucking habits, with this fucking real ass message. It's like coming with a battle rattle. Pop, 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 pop. Right? And I know I'm hitting some targets out there. Hit me up, you motherfuckers. It's all on me. We doing this shit 7 days a week. We'll see you on the next side of it, you guys. Remember, results kill excuses. It's all on me.